Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Joel, and this is A Stable Life. Yesterday and yesterday night, we were dealing with the remnants of Nicole, which brought us not that much rain at all, actually. We were preparing to keep the horses in for the duration of the storm because we were told it was going to be a heavy storm with lots of rain and wind, and it ended up actually not being bad at all. We barely got much rain at all, and there was no wind. So the horses are all blanketed, and they were in during parts of the storm, but they really didn't like being in, and there was no reason to keep them in because it was light rain, so they're turned out. Right, George? So this morning we're gonna have to take all their blankets off because they're gonna be too warm in those blankets. But then tonight the temperature is going down, so some of our weaker horses, like Gavin or Sriracha, both thoroughbreds, are going to need their medium blankets put on just to keep them warm overnight. We don't want them losing any weight because they're shivering and trying to stay warm. Before I do all of that though, I need to start by measuring out. And the round bale is completely gone, so we're gonna need to get a new round bale in here. For this morning, I will use some of the hay that we brought in when we got Tucker and put that hay in the stalls for some of the horses that need it, because some horses are definitely good on weight and don't need any more weight added to them, whereas others really burn through their calories per day, so we want to make sure they have a lot of forage material running through their digestive system because we feed them a lot of grain. And that grain's important. It gives them the vitamins, the minerals, and the proteins they need to gain weight and maintain muscle mass. But they also need a healthy digestive system, thus the extra forage material to move everything through appropriately. Well, it definitely looks like George left quite a mess for me here to clean up. There we go, a lot better. Occasionally I get from time to time questions about why we don't use bedding in the stalls. Bedding would be something that would be good to use in the stalls if they stayed in for a long period of time. They're only in the stalls for about 3 hours per day, about an hour and a half for morning feeding, and about an hour and a half for afternoon feeding. So there's no need to put bedding in their stalls because one, that increases the amount of money we have to use to put bedding in the stalls. Two, it makes it a lot harder to clean the stall. Instead of just dragging everything together and scooping it out of the stall, you have to filter out the bedding from the manure. And it also really doesn't change how the horses feel about the stall. It's mostly for people. The only time you actually need bedding in the stalls is when they're staying in their stalls for a long period of time. Then it's good to have bedding to dry things up. Otherwise, there's really not a need. Next up is hay, and we're down to square bales right now because the round bale's gone. It's funny how a bale of hay, so big, like a round bale, can just disappear like that. Here you go, Gavin. Gavin four-legged, not two-legged. All right, the stable is now prepared and ready for all of the horses to come in. So we're gonna start letting them in, starting with George. Good morning, George. Come on in. Let's see, does George know where to go? Nope. Nope, he's still learning. He knows where to go over here, but he doesn't necessarily understand that this is his stall and his stall only. Here you go, George. Come on, in the stall. There you go. Yeah, very nice. And as you guys can tell, George actually has some new bars put up on his stall door. I think they look quite nice. Kind of matches the aesthetic that's going on with Champ there. I like it. We put bars up for horses that reach their heads out while we're letting other horses out and threaten to bite those horses as we're going by, or for horses that are cribbing. And as you can see here, George is showing signs that he is cribbing on his stall door. And so this is to prevent him from reaching out and cribbing. Cribbing usually comes about from boredom or nervousness when a horse is kept in their stall for a long period of time. And so they get bored and start developing weird things such as swaying in their stalls, cribbing, or finding ways to make noise in their stalls. For instance, Poncho used to be in a barn and they would keep him in for a long period of time. And so a thing that he likes to do is take his teeth and rub them on things to make loud noises. So they do all kinds of weird things. They don't have that problem here though. However, the symptoms of them being stuck in the stalls whenever they're in a stall shows up. And so we do our best to try to curb that. Cribbing could actually be life-threatening, which is why we're handling it so quickly. Because when a horse cribs, they suck in air, which could cause them to colic. And colic could lead to severe illness or possibly death. And naturally, anything ending with death we want to avoid, right? Right, Poncho? So that's why the bars have been added for George's stall, for his safety and for ours. We want him to have a happy and long life here at our stable. Right, Sriracha? I'm gonna keep calling you Sriracha. Right, Poncho? Yeah. All right, Poncho. Little slimy, be careful. Good morning, William. Good morning, Roni. Good morning, Buster. Good morning, Rocky. Good to see you guys. Let's go ahead and let in the middle pasture. They look like they're definitely ready. From looking down in the big field, I can tell that it's gonna be interesting when it comes to hay today. Wonder how much bales I'll have to put out. Won't know till we see. All right, here you go, boys. William and Roni, brothers together, going in together. You could tell they were rolling around in the mud. Whoa. Looks like Jack and Roni were working out some differences there. Champ, Rebel, and Casino are coming on in. I'm gonna take a gander on inside that barn and make sure that we don't have any comeuppets going on inside. You guys like that sentence? Things are looking good in here. And now that the middle field is all inside the barn, we're gonna grab Tucker's grain, which is right here in this bucket, and put it right here in his stall. In regards to training Tucker to come out here, I'm told that things are actually going pretty well. We'll see for ourselves today just how well that is. Well, good morning, guys. Nice to see you all here. You can see Tucker standing out there in the middle. Morning, Suede. Morning, Duke. Samson. Danny. Okay, I know you really couldn't see what happened there, but I got a bunch of horses that ran by me. They didn't bother me, of course, but I was trying to get Tucker. He's walking this way like he's not confused, so he at least understands that this is the way he's supposed to go. As far as him knowing this is the place to go, don't know yet. There you go, Tucker. That's working quite nicely. And it appears that the rest of the horses all went into their stalls as they are supposed to. Now that all the horses are in, we're gonna go ahead and take a look in the big field and see what we have as far as hay that's available for the horses. Okay, so this is one of our round bale feeders. This is obviously one that does not have a roof, and so the hay is saturated with water. Doesn't mean that they won't eat this, it just means that the hay is wet, which does bring the quality down. So if they decide not to eat this, then I probably will have to clean all of this off and this will all be waste. But in order to encourage them to eat this, definitely don't need to put a fresh round bale on top of this because that'll just encourage more waste. Our structure is definitely looking nice and good. It definitely feels nice in here. It's my understanding that this structure is gonna be finished today, which is quite exciting. So that's good news. They're gonna be putting this side on, which will allow me to put hay in. However, based on what I'm seeing for this morning, I don't think I actually will need to put hay in here. Let's take a look at the other feeder. Well, this hay is definitely a lot drier, but there's definitely a lot here for them to eat still. So all in all, the big field does not need any hay put out. Good deal. If I had to guess, we'll probably be putting hay out Tuesday, and we will be using the new round bale feeder, which is very exciting. Is the hay for the middle field, at least what's left of it. Definitely a lot less in this pasture, but also saturated because no roof. So this field will need a round bale, but we want to encourage them to clean this up. So we'll put a round bale in for afternoon feeding, not for morning feeding. That way they can polish this off through the day. So it's looking like all we need is 2 round bales, one for the middle field and one for inside the barn. Not too bad. Since that means that we won't be needing to put any round bales out for morning feeding, that means that we can basically move right into daily care. But before we do that, do you guys know what time it is? That's right, guys, it's... Where are the donkeys?
Yeah, there you guys are. It's donkey time.
Woo! There we go. With our special guest, Tucker. Hello, Tucker. You want to see what's inside the buckets? No, don't bite the bucket. What are you doing biting the bucket? As you may have noticed, all of the horses are wearing blankets. The temperature is going to be in the mid-60s today, so we're going to be taking all of them off. The rain has ended, so they can go back to being naked. So we will be starting with the donkeys.
Rocky, Buster.
All right, let's go ahead and take off these blankets, huh? It's okay. Just take one strap. Another. There we go. Oh. Good boy, Buster. There we go. That's better. Don't you think, Rocky? A good question that I've been getting is, what are we going to do with the donkeys when winter arrives and we have a winter storm coming in with lots of snow, ice, or freezing rain? Now, the nice thing about this area that they go in and that they eat is that it actually is a stall. What all we need to do is take this door, and then this locks from the outside, and as you can tell, with that closed up there and these glass panels here, they're completely sealed inside. We can put water right there in that special container that will keep the water from freezing, and then they'll have hay, water, and shelter from any of the elements. However, since we don't have any bad weather right now, it's open, and then they have access to this whole pasture. And as you can see, they've got lots of jolly balls and toys, as well as a muck bucket that's turned into their toy that they both grab and play tug of war with. So they're really enjoying their new life out here, and we are more than ready for whatever winter wants to throw at us this year. Now, since Tucker is just built different, he actually did not need a sheet last night because he is just a very hardy and tough animal. So he's fine. However, a lot of the other horses do have sheets on, which we need to take off. So we'll be starting with suede here. And it will be with suede that I would be happy to demonstrate the basics of taking off a blanket for a horse. Now, suede's blanket has what's called a hood. Some blankets have these, some don't. So with some Velcro straps, we can peel that back, and now we're to the regular blanket. Then there's going to be two cross belly under straps that you unhook by turning, just like so. And then there's going to be two cross straps that go across the back. And it's usually these straps that can get rather dirty. However, it looks like suede has kept his nice and clean. Then you grab at the tail flap. You're going to pull up over top of the hood, like so. And it's at this point that you could do one of two things. You can unhook the front, and then the whole blanket will come off the horse. Or you can do what we do, which is you grab the whole blanket together, and you go up over the neck, and then he is naked, and we have the blanket. The reason why we don't unhook those front straps is because, as you can imagine, with 20 plus horses here, unhooking those front straps and rehooking those front straps for every single horse can get quite time consuming. And so once you get into the zone, you can actually take a blanket off and move to the next horse in about 30 to 40 seconds. It's little things like that that can really eat up your time. And once he is all set and ready to be turned out, turn him out, because there's no reason for him to be in his stall. He'll start getting anxious and upset because he's stuck in there. We'll let him out into the pasture where he can go and be free, stretch his legs a little bit, and maybe roll in the mud to get nice and dirty for his owner, because why not? He's clean. At least that's what it seems that goes through their minds from time to time. And let me tell you, some of them, it's almost like they're in a contest to see who can get dirtier. It's really impressive. You can see the donkeys down there playing with the jolly ball, and all the horses are out grazing. Man, that is nice. Came up to get a drink of a green tea, and on my way up here, I just wanted to show you guys Lauren, Andrew, and Megan. How are you three doing today?
Doing pretty well. Farm market was busy about 15-20 minutes ago. Now, it's not too busy, but that's okay.
What are you doing in there, huh? So quite some time has passed between the clip that you guys just saw and here. I have eaten lunch. It was quite good. Scrounged up some bagels. So that takes us to the jobs that we're gonna be working on extra for today. Because of the rain and the situation that we're in, I still have that little section of the pasture to mow. However, it's not bad. It's just weedy. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unhook the rotary chopper, park it over there, and once the ground freezes and it's safer to be on the hill, it's not as muddy, where I won't be chewing up the pasture, I'll hook back up to the chopper and hopefully I'll be able to knock that hill out and the hollow together. But until then, I need the rear hitch to my tractor so that I can haul the round bales on a wagon, because as you may have noticed, it's very time consuming. However, we don't have a round bale wagon. What we do have is a square bale wagon that we can take the sides off of and use for round. I'm gonna talk to Uncle Brian and see if he'll let me do that with the wagon. I see no reasons why not. But we're also going to hook up to the arena drag and drag the arena up here. Now this is something that the clients always like, and that's actually gonna be our next immediate job, is cleaning this up. We've gotten a little bit of rain. We'll run over this with the yard rake to level out all the divots so that they can use this arena for warming their horses up, working on ground manners, or maybe just putting up some barrels and practicing some cloverleaf barrels. Whatever they'd like to do. There we go. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? There was quite the puddle over in this section where the water all swales to. So I pulled as much of the water out as I could and moved it up into different sections of the arena, which emptied the puddle out quite a bit, but as you can see, it's still wet here. By tomorrow morning, all of that'll be dry and it'll be ready for the horses. Good deal. I don't think there's gonna be too much riding going on this afternoon on account of all the rain we got. So now that we officially have the back of our tractor available to us, I need to take this off. There we go. Yay! That's been on there for a long time. Nice to have that back. All right, so we've got our trusty red wagon over here, which actually has the best frame of all of our hay wagons, which is why we use it for moving round bales. In order to convert this into a round bale moving machine, instead of a square bale moving machine, we just gotta take all these racks off, which looks daunting, but it's actually easier than you think. And it starts right here with these two bolts. Just got to loosen these two guys and then take this off, and then we'll go from there. Well, with a lot of help from Grandpa, that made a hard job easy, that's for sure. Now we've got our round bale wagon. All right, so we're at the round bale. What? So, whoopsie. So we're where we store all of our round bales. We're gonna be picking up 8. Now that we have the wagon, this will go a lot smoother. Alrighty guys, as you can see, we have 8 round bales fully loaded up on the wagon. And if I really wanted to get crazy, I can even add another wagon to this one. But if I ever need to feed more than 8 round bales at once, we're doing something wrong, because that's a lot of hay. Well, what do you guys say? I think it's time we get these round bales home. We just got back to the horse stable with the wagon fully loaded. It was a slow drive home, but at least I got 8 round bales at once. And as I'm pulling in, look who we got up here in the upper arena.
Hi.
Hey, Mila, how's it going today?
It's a long day.
Long day?
Very long day.
How's George?
Doing good. He's very stubborn today.
What are you guys working on?
Flat work.
Flat work?
Might go for a trail ride.
Whatever you decide to do, I hope you have fun and make sure you're safe.
Thank you.
Well, the horses are waiting. We're pretty close to afternoon feeding. I'm gonna actually park the wagon here because, well, there's room for it. And then I don't have to go all the way over to the cow pasture next time I need the wagon. So that's pretty snazzy, huh? Those 4 are pretty boogered up, so I'm gonna open them up and put them inside the tractor shed.
Hey everybody, I took Joel's camera. He doesn't know. He's actually taking round bales out. We're putting blankets on. Babe, who do I need to do next?
Sriracha needs a medium blanket, and Gavin.
Sriracha and Gavin. I'll do Sriracha.
Okay.
Medium, navy blue Jeffers. All right, so we got Sriracha's blanket on, as you know.
I want the letter.
Any other horses do?
I think that's it.
That's it? That's it? Yeah, he didn't know I had to feed the camera. Is this the new transport mechanism for the round bales?
Yes, it is.
Very cool. That'll make things easier.
Yes.
Load the round bale. How many?
8 at a time.
Bring 8 in. I like it.
It's nice.
That'll work.
How did it go working on the feeder?
We're done with it. Still holding the camera on.
You're filming for me, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to film, but the camera angles are like, ah!
No, I appreciate it.
You and Andrew walk around making this look so easy. You're like, oh, la, 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 la. Oh no, la, 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 la.
Is that what we look like?
That's what you look like.
Is that what we look like? La, 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 la,
Yeah,
la,
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 la, la, la, la, la.
Alrighty guys, as you can tell, we have just wrapped up with afternoon feeding. All the horses are out. You can see them down there munching on that round bale we put out in the middle field. In the big field, most of them are grazing, but I could see a few down there eating that hay that's still down there. From what I understand, the feeder is complete down there. However, I pretty much ran out of time, which is why you didn't see much for afternoon feeding. So we're gonna head down there and take a look at that feeder on Tuesday, which is in the next video. So if you haven't, make sure that you're subscribed to keep up to date on everything new that's happening here at our stable. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been super awesome having you guys with me. And I hope that this video was either educational or that it made you feel just a little bit better, cracked a smile, gave a laugh, whatever the case. That's always the aim for these videos. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't, don't forget to hit that like button.
And as always, I'll see you in the next one.